All right, welcome back to Cooking with a Veteran, or if this is your first time, welcome to Cooking with a Veteran. I'm your host, Dave Rogers, combat veteran, member of the VFW, founder of Cooking with a Veteran. Lots of things going on. Before we get into today's episode, as always, to all my brothers and sisters out there deployed overseas, wherever you are, know that we love you, we miss you, we're thinking about you, and we hope you come home safe soon. So you've been following the show. Some great things going on. We went up to the VFW National Home. We did cooking for the families up there. Had a great time. I, from Cooking with the Veteran, gave them some of my cookbooks for each family. And some of the staff gave out my challenge coins. Okay, you see my challenge coins. You can get them. They're $10 a piece. And part of that money goes to support the Cooking with the Veteran program, like up at the National Home. Okay, I got my cookbooks going on. So we went to the National Home. We filmed it. We put it out on the, on social media, on YouTube and Facebook. And so far, to date, between Facebook and YouTube and all the different Facebook channels, we've had over 600 views of the video, which is very exciting. Like, that's the biggest amount of views I've had of a single video. So I'm very excited about that. We'll be going back up there next year to do more cooking with them. In September, we're planning an event. So lots of things going on with the show. Appreciate all the support, all the sponsors, everybody who's helped out. You've seen the list of them, all right? Appreciate all our sponsors. If you want to sponsor, go ahead and reach out to me and let me know, and we'll get you connected. All right, so in my second cookbook, I talked about using leftovers to make another meal, and somebody was asking me if I could actually show another one of those videos. So I made adobe pork the other day. I have like 2 big containers of adobe pork left over, right? So I made adobe pork, and I have some other pork in the refrigerator. I saved the broth. Remember what I was telling you? I save my broths, okay? I make broth, but also if I make a soup, whatever broth is left over, I don't flush it. I save it, right? Because that's going to create a nice base for the next soup. So I want to show you what I'm working with here today. You've seen the pictures from the pork. All right, I have my vegetables here. I got some potatoes, some mixed carrots. They didn't have the mixed potatoes, so I just got a bag of the small reds. I got the mixed carrots. I got some garlic. I got some ginger. I got some shallots. I got some heirloom tomatoes. Got a little bit of white onion. Got some peppers here. And I'm just going to kind of quickly salt up. All right, this way I don't have to add the salt later on. I'm just going to salt up. And remember, you always, pinch from hand. Pinch your salt. Don't shake from a salt shaker, because when you use it from the hand, you have better control of how much salt goes into your dish. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing with pepper. I'm going to place it in the palm of my hand. And again, I'm just going to kind of sprinkle it around. This is the more coarse pepper. I love a good coarse pepper. Okay, better than the fine pepper. All right, so I got my salt and my pepper in there. And now I'm going to bring you back to my pot here. You see my pot? Whoops, let me get this. Nope, I'm not doing this right for some reason. For some reason, I'm not getting it right. There we go. Let's see. Does that work? There we go. All right. Sorry. This is why I need another camera. Okay. So I got my pot here. It's warming up. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in the bottom. I don't need to put a lot because, again, I keep this pot well seasoned. All right. You can see the oil in the bottom already. I've been preheating the pot and turn on medium. So it's already warm. Okay. That's what you want. You see the oil starting to spread around. All right. I'm going to go ahead at this time. I'm going to throw in some pieces of garlic. I'm going to toss in some pieces of my ginger. And I like to make each soup a little bit different. A lot of people put the same ingredients in all their soups. And the problem with that is when you do that, yeah, you get a consistent taste, but you're getting the same taste all the time. And sometimes that's why people get bored with soups, is because they're getting the same taste every single time. I want to mix it up some. All right. Now, I'm not putting a lot of garlic and ginger at this time because I already have garlic and ginger in the pork that I cooked and in the sauce. So I just need to put a little bit to create a base for my vegetables. All right. I'm going to go ahead at this time. I'm going to add in my shallots. So I had my first book signing the other day, which is pretty cool. It did rain. It was raining a lot, so a lot of people stayed away because of the rain. But I did sell some books. It was kind of nice to be out there talking to people. And one woman came in, and she was talking about she loves watching my show. She loves how, I keep it real, not pre-recorded videos. So I love that, right? I love that people enjoy watching the show, okay? It's very exciting for me to know that people enjoy the show. I enjoy putting on the show for you, okay? So I got my broth. Oops, you can hear it, right? The garlic and the onion and the ginger starting to cook up there, right? So I got my broth here. Like I said, that I had from my other meal. I'm going to throw in my white onion. I slice them kind of thin. I usually like it thicker. But I just slice it up a little bit thinner this time. I need to do videos on how to do all the different cuts of vegetables. I think people would get something out of that because you really, there's so many ways to cut vegetables. And mixing vegetables and things like that. So I'm going to do some videos on that in the future. All right, but I just want to get these going. I want to saute these up. Okay, remember, I don't want to burn them. So I got my pan on a medium right now. Just really getting them going. Okay. So like I said, she was, talking about she liked watching my videos, how I kept it original. And of course I was joking. About how, like, even the best chefs make mistakes, but you never see it on their shows, right? I mean, I think some of them put out, like, blooper reels or something else like that, but if you're a great chef, you want to show, like, the best part of your cooking, and that's nice, but people want to know that, there's a real side to you, that you make mistakes sometimes, and that's what she liked about my videos, and I appreciate that. So as we're cooking up today, I want to remind you, because for the adobo pork and for the other episodes, my sponsor for this episode is Operation Vest. My brother and sister up there, they're doing programs to help stop 22 a day. All right. I like to say we want to stop losing veterans to the war at home. Okay, because that's what's happening. They're coming home with the trauma, and they're living with it here at home. So it's an inner war, and we want to try to stop that. All right, so I got my onions going. I'm going to put in some pepper. Okay, I just bought some cut up pepper. I didn't feel like buying a big pack of peppers. I'm not going to use them all right now. You can buy the bigger slices if you want the bigger slices. Like I said, I'm just adding some flavor here, okay, to my pan. Now, I have the broth from the adobo pork that I cooked, but I'm going to thicken that up some. So I'm going to grab some flour, okay, and I did make a tomato-based adobo pork. Normally, it's not a tomato paste. But I've seen it with tomato base. So I made up a tomato-based one because in this way I knew that I would make it into a nice stew. All right. And again, you can any pork. You can You know, maybe you got some broiled pork in your refrigerator, you can use that. All right. You can use, you know, barbecue pork, whatever you want to use. All right. Any type of meat you want to eat. And it doesn't have to be pork. It could be beef. It could be chicken. All right. Maybe you got some goat. Whatever you want to use. The meat doesn't really matter. Okay. I'm just building the base here. So I got the vegetables nice and covered with some flour, which is going to help make a thicker sauce for this. All right. Normally, this is the point where I would add the meat. I'm not doing that now because I've already cooked the meat and the meat's already tender. So the meat doesn't need as long to cook. It just needs to really warm up. So I'm going to make sure now that I start adding in my vegetables. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to add in a little bit of tomato paste. All right. Again, I'm building I want to build a nice thick tomato base here for the stew. Okay, and I want it thicker. That's why I added the flour in, so I can create a thickness to it. And it's creating some of that roux at the bottom. We've talked about the roux. We love the roux, right? This is what brings the flavors through to everything. So we got some of that nice roux going. I'm actually going to add the rest of the, I'll pick up more. All right, so I got that going. At this time, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add in my carrots. And this is my 7.2 quart Dutch oven, my Smithy Dutch oven. So I know I have plenty of room in here, okay? This thing can hold up to a 6-pound corned beef and still have room for vegetables. So I know I got plenty of room to put plenty of stuff in here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my potatoes at this point. All right. And I'm adding the harder vegetables because I want these to cook some. I'm going to cook these for about 20 minutes on the stove top. All right. Before I add the meat in. And then I'm going to cook it for another 5 minutes after that on the stove top. And then I'm going to stick it in the oven for about 40 minutes. All right, to really let it reduce down some. So while this is doing on the stove top, set my oven at 375. All right, to get it ready. All right, I got a nice roux going here at the bottom. I got my vegetables going, and now, you know, doing my grunt style, I'm going to add some Guinness. Nice room temperature Guinness. I got my Guinness in there. And then I'm going to pour in my broth that I had left over for when I made the adobo pork. I'm going to mix this around. And I got this set to a medium. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in my tomatoes at this time. I got to get it set. I got some nice heirloom tomatoes. I'm going to put those in. I'm going to mix this up. And if you're not, you know, if you're not a big meat eater, or if you're not a meat eater, you know, what you could do from this point, if you have the tomato sauce, all these vegetables, I would add in a little bit of celery. I would add in some eggplant. And this would be a nice vegetable stew, okay? You can even add in some corn if you wanted to. I'm not going to do all that for this time because I'm going to add in the pork here in a moment, well, a little bit. So I'm going to cover this. I'm going to let this low simmer for about 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes on the stovetop. Check on it, see where the carrots and the potatoes are. If they're almost tender, I'm going to put in the pork, stir it up, let it cook for another 5-10 minutes on the top, and then stick it in the oven for 40 minutes, and I'm going to have a beautiful pork stew. And that's how you make stew, whether it's pork stew, beef stew, chicken stew. That's how you make stew from leftover meat that you have in your refrigerator. Like I said, it's very simple. Little time, it takes a little bit of time, but it's very simple, not hard to make. Oops, almost forgot something. See, this is why I like doing it live. Looked around. I'm going to put a little bit of Italian seasoning. Okay, I get the fresh Italian seasoning at the market. Boom. And I'm going to let that sit. I hope you enjoyed joining me on this episode of Cooking with a Veteran. If there's something you want to see me cook, go ahead and reach out to me and let me know. Again, to all my brothers and sisters out there, deployed, overseas, wherever you are, know that we love you, we miss you, we're thinking about you. We hope you come home soon, safe and sound. If you're struggling, if you're having problems, reach out to another veteran. Let them know about it. We're there to help you out. Okay? You don't have to be a member of the VFW to get help from the VFW. And that's important to know. It's one of the reasons why I love belonging to the VFW, is because they care for everybody, whether you're a combat veteran or not. As I said, please make sure that you like, share, and follow. If you want to sponsor the show, let me know. And until next time, hoorah! Alright, so I normally don't show you the other part, but I wanted to show you the other part. So as you can see, the vegetables are nice and stewed down. They're soft, but not too tender. Okay? They're going good. Been up here for about 30 minutes. And now I'm going to take all the extra. This is the pork I had, the soup I had. I'm going to take all the pork that I had from the adobo pork, and I'm going to pour it in there. Okay, I'm going to mix this around. I still have a little bit of room, which is good because I have some of this roast pork that I made the other day. Okay, I don't want this to go to waste, and so I'm just going to mix this in here. It's nice and cooked up pork. Okay, so I'm going to put all this in here. I'm going to let this cook for about 10 minutes on top of the stove here. Let it come to a slight boil, and then I'm going to stick this in the oven for about 30 or 40 minutes. Check to see where the vegetables are. Check to see where the pork is. Okay, I don't want until the pork is tender again and the vegetables are nice and soft. So that's how you make stew from leftovers. Okay, like I said, I cooked up the vegetables first because the meat was already cooked. I don't want to overcook it where it becomes too tender, too shredded, or becomes rubbery. Some meats will become rubbery if you overcook them. All right, so the meat goes in last. Like I said, I'm going to cover that up, let that cook for about 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then stick in the oven for about 30, 40 minutes from there. All right, again, thank you for joining me on this episode of Cooking with a Veteran. Make sure you like, share, and follow, and I'll see you soon. Hoorah!